Welcome back to Texas Liberty Podcast. I'm Clark Patterson, and along with Ted Brown tonight, I'll be interviewing, both of us will be interviewing the three candidates for LP Texas Vice Chair. The election will be held this weekend in Corpus Christi. We have with us Jessi Cowart, John Wilford, and Joe Roberts. And so we're going to be asking all of them the same basic questions, and they'll have an equal amount of time to respond to the questions. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll start by asking one question, and then of course, Ted will follow up. I'd like to know first, let's have you guys all introduce yourselves. Jessi, we'll start with you. How long and how and when did you become a libertarian? And basically your background in libertarian and liberty-oriented politics.
Sure. So my name is Jessi Cowart. I wear a number of hats with LP Texas right now. So I am the special projects manager on staff. I also represent Senate District 4, and I also am the chair of Montgomery County. As far as my libertarian story goes, I actually discovered libertarianism whenever I was still an undergraduate in college. So I'm going to show my age a little bit here, but I was very much active in the anti-war movement. Following 9/11 on UT Austin campus. And I realized that, a lot of my anti-war brethren, I wasn't wholly aligned with ideologically. Like I had that one kind of, core issue with them. We were against the war, but whenever we talked about other things from a political standpoint, I found that I was very much not aligned with them, especially economically. Around that time, a buddy of mine who was in the anti-war movement with me said, "Hey, this guy Ron Paul is coming to speak at the LBJ School of Public Affairs," and said, "Hey, why don't you come along with me?" And this was probably, I guess, circa 2002, 2003. And I went and saw Ron Paul speak for the first time, and I came away from that experience saying, I think I'm a libertarian. Like I'd never even heard of the Libertarian Party or libertarianism before at that point, but that's what did it for me. It kind of started with my anti-war movement activism, and then an introduction to Ron Paul and a speaking event.
Well, great. Okay, John, why don't we have you explain your background as well?
Yeah, sure. Pre-Libertarian Party, I guess my first introduction to libertarianism, uh, probably not that exciting, but the I Side With test kind of led me down that road. I actually at the time hadn't even heard of the party, but it did kind of lead me to eventually learn about the party. And from there, I think my first actual interaction was I filled out an interest form and checked on there just passively, not thinking anything of it, that I'd be interested in county chair spot. Found out my county was unaffiliated and got a call from Pat Dixon at the time. Um, and affiliated Cherokee County, I'm going to say that was 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. Attended my first state convention in 2012, ended up getting a select seat at the time. 2014, I ran for treasurer of the state party. Then 2016, ran for chair. I was elected chair in 16 and 18. In the middle of that, I was county chair for Anderson, and I was in Cherokee for a while. I did a very short stint as national secretary, and I've been involved in bylaws committee and various staff positions throughout those times.
Great. So let's go with Joe. Joe, give us your background in liberty politics.
Thank you. So, whereas my adventure with libertarianism hasn't lasted quite as long, I did abandon the duopoly quite some time ago, probably in the late 90s. My first foray into third-party politics was actually with the Reform Party. In right around 2000, I eventually ended up becoming the Dallas County chair. I was post-Perot there, so I didn't quite, but I was very impressed at the time with the fact that he was disrupting the system and giving people the other option. So I'd say I was I was definitely fed up with the Democrats and Republicans for and for at least 2 decades, now close to 3 decades now. Eventually, saw the Reform Party wasn't a useful vehicle, and also my political alignment wasn't as solid with them. Things were happening around Dallas that were, I would say, proto-libertarian, and moving me in that direction. Things like, for example, the government coming in, the local government telling people, restaurant owners, they couldn't have non-smoking sections anymore, and smoking sections that, coming in and telling them what they could do with their own business. And that always was not sitting well with me. Gradually, I just became, I would say, politically homeless. Interestingly enough, my introduction to seriously considering libertarianism was through cryptocurrency. So about 12 years ago, I started looking at Bitcoin, and in particular, it was because I was looking around the world at how that was disrupting financial situations at the time. Cyprus, what they did in the country of Cyprus is they because they were having austerity measures, they actually went in and shaved 30% off of everyone's bank accounts. They just went in and took it, and that outraged me. And I said, there's no real reason that couldn't happen here at some point. So as I started investigating that, I noticed that, most of the proponents of Bitcoin were libertarian leaning, and they were, anti-government control of the finances. And so I started taking that more seriously, and I started looking into it. And I said, yep, this is where I align. Gradually, I joined the party in 2019. I've served as the representative on the Libertarian Executive Committee of the State Committee for 4 years now. I represent District 23, which is a good chunk of Dallas and a tiny sliver of Tarrant County. I've also been an officer in the county party. I serve on the executive committee at the county level, and I also serve with the affiliate support committee. So equipping counties and keeping them connected to the state party and helping them grow, identify, recruit candidates, and making sure that they stay in compliance with state laws so that we can grow the party where it already is, and also extend to where it doesn't exist yet officially.
Well, great. Well, I think that shows that whoever wins this weekend, LP Texas Vice Chair will be in great hands. So we're going to do a tag team questioning. So
Yes.
Ted, take it away.
Okay, well, I would like to ask about Bitcoin, but I'm not going to. That's going to be a completely different show. But now, vice chair is a more undefined position, except for assisting the chair. What do you see as the responsibilities of the vice chair, and what do you want to accomplish in that position? Oh, let's start with John this time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, a lot of people have ran for the vice chair position in the past and had various goals within it. I think Kyle, most recently, when he was doing his stint, he wanted to focus on IT issues. I know in the past people have wanted to focus on activism or other things, but you kind of hit the nail on the head. Is it's the assistant and relief to the chair themselves. And in my case, not only do I have personal experience with that, with taking the gavel, with doing a lot of that stuff, which is something I feel that many of our vice chairs in the past have been weak on. They maybe have had their issue that they worked really hard on and been strong on, but when it came time to actually relieve the chair, that's not necessarily something that has been there. And the example, I know this isn't Texas centered, but it is LP centered, that I think of the most is Moman, who was given the golden opportunity to take the gavel after retirement, and even he stepped aside and asked someone else to take over. The other thing that I'm really hoping to bring is experience. I'm a direct running mate with Andrew Amalang. He asked me to run. He asked me to be his assistant in that role. And I think a big part of his strategy there was to not try and bring everything in from scratch, but bring in some experience and kind of jumpstart his start a lot quicker than some chairs have been able to do in the past.
Okay, thank you. And let's go to Joe next. What should the vice chair be doing, and what do you want to accomplish in that position?
Right. So like you said, it is a little bit amorphous right now. if you've looked at our bylaws proposals on the bylaws committee, one of the proposals is defining that a little bit better. So if that does pass at the convention here this weekend, one of the duties is going to be representing those select districts that don't currently have a representative. So there's a few things that are to define that. So I would definitely be in favor of following those roles. In my sense, like you said, it is assisting the chair. As John also said, it is being able to take over. And like I said, as a former county chair myself, who've run meetings on a regular basis, I do have that experience as well. Like I said, the things that I would want to do are to continue to support the chair. And basically follow whoever, whether it's Andrew or Nathan who wins, to build on their initiatives, play to their strengths, and in those areas in which they could use my experience to, for example, outreach. That's one of the things that I would really want to stress is engaging not just with our pet issues, let's say like decriminalization of marijuana or gun rights. Yes, we do need to keep doing those, but when the entire state is talking about things like immigration or talking about school choice, I think that I can serve a role in engaging both Democratic and Republican and undecided voters on providing that solid libertarian perspective that's already in our platform. So those are some things that I would want to do, in addition to, again, equipping counties to identify and recruit county and district level candidates, and to give the state support to that, and in my role as vice chair also.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Jessi then. Vice chair's role, and what do you wish to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I think both the guys hit the nail on the head in terms of the support of the chair. I mean, both of the chair candidates that we have right now are going to be green, right? This is going to be their very first time running for chair. So they're going to need a lot of support. And they're going to need a vice chair that is able to manage up. So one of the things that I bring to the table is organization. So I would say that being a certified project manager in my professional life is going to be helpful in helping the chair keep things organized with all the various initiatives that are going on in working with the executive director to manage staff. The other thing too, I mean, and we all have our passion projects. My passion project is really around candidate and campaign manager development. So I know, Ted, this will probably resonate with you as a member of the political action department, but I feel like that's a place where we really have an opportunity to grow. We need to have a bench of candidates, and not only a bench of candidates, but a bench of people who are trained to run campaigns, campaign managers that we can deploy during these cycles, and really kind of get out of the small party mentality of paper ballot candidates, and really get people empowered to run actual campaigns, or at least have a website that people can pull off the shelf, and at least have a candidate website. And I know this will resonate with Joe as well, because he's one of the ones that have actually run campaigns, right? But I feel like that's one of the things that I would really like to focus on. But just in terms of support and for the chair, another thing that I feel like we can improve upon is really kind of elbowing our way to a seat at the table in political discourse in Texas. So it's one thing to kind of go and table at conventions, LibertyCon, Freedom Fest, and things like that. But I'd really like to, in partnership with the chair, do more speaking engagements. Like actually go and speak at different events with our coalition partners. Writing op-eds and getting those posted in our big state media sites. Those are the types of things that I would really like to focus on as vice chair.
Oh, very good. And I certainly could use a very well qualified campaign manager. There seems to be nobody interested in the position, so I'm sure other candidates are in the same boat about not having anyone to help them run the campaigns.
Right.
Okay, Clark.
Yes, let me address the issue of all the young, great people who've entered the party since the Reno reset. I'm talking, of course, about the Mises Caucus people. They tend to be younger and, full of great new ideas. But we also know that from experience in some other states, uh, the Mises Caucus ascendancy to some state party positions has not always gone smoothly. So I guess I'd like to address to all three of our candidates, what is y'all's position on this? I mean, we do seem to be somewhat factionalized, maybe even polarized here in LP Texas, since the bringing in of the Mises Caucus people. So how do you guys? I mean, is this a good thing, or will you see your victory, any of you three, as a kind of a winner take all attitude where this is the way it will be, or do you see that your victory as something as we should bring in and try to have these two groups get along better together? So I guess we should start with Joe, if we've got the order correct. Joe, what is your position on that?
So Clark, I think you alluded to it. Was whoever serves in our leadership positions needs to recognize that there are some divisions among us. Like you said, what we see in LP Texas as far as different caucuses, different points of view, which really centers on a very small percentage. We're all libertarians. That's the first thing I think we would agree on. But compared to other states, there's some backbiting and things like that. But really not a concerted, division trying to overthrow, to reset things here. I haven't seen that, and like I said, I've been at the state level since before the Reno reset, and as they call it. I think that we are not a big enough party that we can be marginalizing people. Personally, in my, like I said, as a candidate last term, I was endorsed by both the Mises Caucus and the Classical Liberal Caucus, which was a caucus formed in response to the Mises Caucus. So people on both sides of that divide have supported me in the past. Other caucuses, and personally, I'm not in a caucus myself. My allegiance is to the Libertarian Party of Texas and to anybody who wants to promote liberty. I think in my role, if I let's just put it this way, I have 25 years of experience as a classroom teacher. So when people are not getting along, I can manage groups pretty well without making them feel marginalized or making people feel unheard. I have no problem saying no to something outrageous. Again, as a vice chair, it may not fall to me to make those decisions, but I do have not just the plan, but I do have a track record of working well with people on both sides of those divides, and in my position as vice chair, I will continue to do so.
Well, great. Well, Jessi, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take all of us, right? We're up against such a huge, behemoth in the uniparty, right? It's going to take classical liberals, monarchists, anarcho-capitalists. It's going to take all of us. Like Joe, I'm not a member of any caucus. I've actively declined being part of any caucus because, like Joe said, my allegiance is to the Libertarian Party of Texas and to liberty in general. I really would love to see everyone just kind of put their heads down and get to work and get over all of the factional stuff. I'm tired of it, and I think my campaign opponents here would agree. I think for those of us who have had our head down, have been really just grinding for the last term plus, with all the factional stuff going on. It's just, I feel like if we could put all of that energy into advancing liberty, just imagine what we could do. So I will work with everyone. I have nominated people that are part of the Mises Caucus. I have voted for people who are part of the Mises Caucus for select positions, for convention committees. I plan to vote for some Mises Caucus folks for national delegate whenever we get to Corpus Christi this weekend. So it really is time to kind of put all of that behind us, is to the extent that we can, and put our heads down and really focus on liberty initiatives and moving LP Texas forward.
Agreed. And John, what is your view on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to largely agree with my two colleagues here. I guess the thing that I will add to the conversation is I actually think the talk about the Mises Caucus or the anti-Mises Caucus or the classical liberal caucus or whatever this whole divide is, it is blown out of proportion. And I think that's largely because politics has a short memory. It just generally does. If you look at our history, I mean, right here in Texas, the Dallas Accords going back, we have had controversial uproarings and divisions off and on throughout the years. I think this is one more like step in that evolution. I think if you look at our history as a party, what is going to inevitably happen, it's going to roar up. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to start to calm down. People on both sides are going to integrate with each other. We're going to adopt a little bit of left, a little bit of right, and we're gonna find some place in the middle. This thing's going to be forgotten in history. People from both sides are going to peel off and quit, and some people from both sides are going to stick around for the long term and just be libertarians. I think that is the most important thing. I guess if we want to list our, credentials with working, I'll use the word bipartisanly, though I don't think it necessarily applies. I've worked with anybody who's wanted to work. In fact, for a while when Carter Fanning was going to be running, he had asked me to be his VC, and I was going to run with him. I think the most important thing is, one, are you principled? Two, are you qualified? And three, are you willing to put your head down and to the grindstone and work? And I'll say this, I think all three of us sitting here are here not because of allegiances, but because we put in the work. And I'll say that for all of us here. We're hard workers, and I think that's the important thing.
Great. Ted?
Okay. So now, how do you think LP Texas is doing? I mean, from a financial point of view, from just a smooth running point of view or not? And what do you think should be done to either keep it or change it from how you consider it currently? Jessi?
I think LP Texas is doing well. As far as our financials go, I think that we're experiencing still some of the fallout from, for those who may not be aware, we were originally on Nation Builder. We made a change over to CVCRM right about this time 2 years ago. And now we are in the process of, or having just moved back to Nation Builder from CVCRM. And for the layman who doesn't understand what a CRM is, that is the place where all of our donor information and all of our donations, whether they be one time and especially recurring, is maintained. And in that transition, to and from CRMs, there has been a loss of some recurring donors that I know that our development team have been just absolutely killing themselves trying to get all of that organized again, getting things organized back with QuickBooks, the accounting software and things like that. So I think that there has been a little bit of turn in terms of our bottom line. But I will also say that as far as LP Texas goes, I mean, we are in the green grass. The grass is not greener on the other side. If you look at other state affiliates, LP Texas is a well-oiled machine. We are the flagship affiliate when it comes to taking care of business, taking care of our financials. We do things the right way. Whenever you look at some of the other state affiliates where there is just mayhem going on, and not to go back to the factionalism again, but I guess just to kind of touch on it a bit is, Clark, you had mentioned that it's a little bit factionalized in Texas. We're good in Texas compared to some other places, and I want to continue to build upon that. I mean, sure, we have our tiffs and things like that, but as far as how we are run as an organization and how we work together, Texas is doing very, very well. My place where I would like to put my focus is in the political action arena.
Okay. And John, how's LP Texas doing?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two sides trying to tell different stories. And neither one of them is completely accurate or completely inaccurate. I think there's one side who is pointing really loudly at the huge deficit that we've run recently and sounding off alarms. And I get it. I've been through, in my own tenure, treasurer, chair, ups and downs, both due to donor attrition and other factors that have come up. But the other side of that, and the story I'm hearing on the other side, is we have a huge nest egg right now. We have, I think, over 100K in the bank right now. And because of that, I don't think it's necessarily wrong for us to try stuff. I've never been a huge fan of the idea of running the party as a business. I don't think the party is a business. We're not here to make money. Money will help our goals. If we had all the money in the world, it would help a lot. But our end goal is freedom within our lifetime. Our end goal is to affect change. And whenever we get a nice nest egg like that, I think there is nothing wrong with us going out, trying some stuff, and experimenting. All of our experiments aren't going to work. In fact, experimenting by its very nature will fail sometimes. That's how it happens. And I think some of the stuff we've done, some of the changes have been good. I think the switch back to nation builder has been good. I was really happy with the L2 stuff we did. And also, but now we're having to cut back some staff. So I think we got some money. We experimented with it. We ran a deficit. And now some alarm bells are going off and we're having to tighten the belt a little bit to correct that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with any of those things happening.
Okay, very good. And Joe, how's LP Texas doing?
I tend to take a point of view of somewhere along the lines of John. I think that what happened over the last 2 years is we anticipated a lot more in donations than what actually came in. So I don't think we overextended ourselves as much as we underestimated for example, the effects that inflation would have on everyone's pocketbooks and their ability to donate. I think that's probably a factor. I do know that we admittedly had some attrition in membership, so along with their not being party members anymore, their dollars went with them as well. I do know that that happened to a certain extent. I do think that we're on our way to a course correction. We've cut back on some things. I do agree with John that we do need to, experiment. We do need to try, new things. At the same time, $100,000, that's a considerable amount of money. But when you compare it to what we're up against, I think that we also need to spend it wisely. We need to. We're not a corporation. We're not here to make profits. I completely agree with that. At the same time, I do think that we need to be wise in those steps off the cliff that we take, that make sure that we're not overextending ourselves, that we be realistic about what's coming in. And as we build membership, as we grow the party, I expect that to also fill our coffers more and allow us to do that. So I'm not on the page of cut everything back and don't try anything, but at the same time, I think that we need to be like John hinted at, but we need to be considering what are our goals. If our goals are to support candidates and to win elections and to promote liberty, let's strategically use the funds that we have and the funds that we're raising in order to do that in the most effective way, get the biggest bang for our buck, so to speak.
Okay, thank you. Clark?
Yes, we're looking at about 5 minutes to go, guys. So let's finish up, guys, by having you all give like a 1-minute summary, like 1-minute pitch as to, your candidacy this for this weekend, of course. And I'd also like to know, should any of you guys not win, and obviously there'll be 2 people who won't be winning this weekend, will you guys still be active, very, very active as you have been for the last few years in LP Texas? So I think, is it going to be, let's see, John, Joe, and then Jessi will have the last word.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and make this quick. My main pitch is I am here to act as a booster, an accelerant to the flame that I hope that Andrew can bring to the party. That's the main thing I'm interested in is pushing us forward. As far as will I still be active, I've already filled out my select application. I plan to do this role if Andrew's elected chair. If not, I'm going to drop out of the race. If I don't get this, I'll be on select. I'll keep working.
Great. Joe?
All right. Like I said, I'm a uniter. I have a good working history with both of our chair candidates. So no matter which one of them gets elected, I think that I would be a valuable asset to the vision of either of them, and to provide that bridge to the general membership as needed. I think that I want to grow this party. I want to help counties that don't have affiliates get affiliates. I want to help counties find and recruit county and district level candidates, because we do need to maintain our state ballot access, absolutely. But our party also needs to be supporting, at least with in-kind support, those candidates who are out there in far-off counties running for county commissioner. We need to find county sheriff candidates. We need to find district judge candidates who are civil libertarians. We need to be helping counties find those, because those are the races where we're not going to be getting 5%, maybe. Those are the races that, two-way races where there's only one of the two big parties running. Those are the kinds of things we need to focus on, and I want to be a part of that, to support our chair in that. And like I said, I too filled out my select application. I plan on continuing my staff role with the affiliate support team if I don't have the vice chair position. So I'm here. My allegiance is the Libertarian Party of Texas, and I will continue, whether or not I am elected to the vice chair, to serve in whatever capacity I can to promote liberty across the state.
Great. So Jessi, you get the last word.
Sure. I'm not going anywhere either. So I've been elected as chair of Montgomery County again. Like John and Joe, I've already put in my select application. So if I do not win the race, I will be running for my Senate District 4 position again. I do intend to continue to fulfill whatever role I'm needed to play on staff. I'm kind of like the utility player. I say I'm special project manager, but I do a little bit of everything. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely going to be around. I'm still going to be working hard, and I'm going to support whoever wins the chair race. I talked about my passion project with the campaign management and the really getting a good bench going and getting people trained up and resources for campaigns and everything, which sounds very much aligned with what Joe was saying. I would want to do that regardless, whether I'm doing it in my capacity as vice chair or not. So I will say that, back in 2020, whenever, Whitney first came in as chair, we had a green chair, we had a green vice chair, we had a green, treasurer, a green secretary. Like, we had a whole slate of officers who had never done the job before. So I guess I say all that to say is that just because I haven't done the job before does not mean that I can't do it well. In fact, some of the best progress that we've made over the years started in the 2020 term, whenever we had that completely green group of ladies who took over as our officer corps. So I hope to bring that with 2024.
Great. Well, we're running down to the last minute now. So Ted, do you have any last word or words?
No, I just wanted to thank all three candidates for coming on. I think it's very important for the delegates to hear from everyone and to see who's running and what they believe in. So we'll see you all this weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes,
Sure.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
guys. Thank you guys.
care.
I'll try to get this episode all edited, and we'll have it drop within the next 24 hours. I'll send you guys an email. In fact, if you guys can send me by email your Twitter handles, that'll also be helpful. I can tag you on Twitter. So let me just wrap up by saying, as we like to wrap up here at Texas Liberty Podcast, tyranny exists when the people fear the government. Liberty exists when the government fears the people. So go out and show the government you're not scared.